What up, boys? Ain't even ready on the mics.
Yo,
What's fucking happening?
shit. Just alive, breathing, ready to kick off this Cap MMA show. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's remember what it is though. This is a Tuesday night in July. These are the worst months of years for spaces. I'm gonna keep it real. Also, if anybody's tuning in on the YouTube, it'll be too late for you to hear this. But anybody listening to our replays, we're only going live on YouTube. We got kicked from the algorithm. We absolutely know we did. We're going to be kicked for probably just over another month here. So we'll get back to posting videos and doing everything, but we don't want to be putting content up for the purposes of it not even putting it in your feed, because it won't even put it in your feed if you follow us right now. We used the clip that an Asian outlet says belongs to them of Tatsuro Taira when he yelled, "I'm Project Abba," whatever he said. That shit. So we got hit pretty hard over it with a copyright thing, which is pretty shitty, but whatever. It fucking is what it is. Donald Trump rally's going on. Tough tonight. Um, Fucking Saturday in July. Here we go, right? Anyways, fuck it. Let's get this thing moving. Did any of you guys see the Nate versus Jorge fight? Be honest.
Yeah, Jorge won that shit, but they gave it to fucking Nate because kind of put that big old bet on him, and on top of that, yeah, all the hype was around Nate, man. Like, I'm retrospect, I knew I should have known better. I should have bet Nate, but in reality, man, Jorge won that fucking shit. He won that shit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch it. I seen the highlights. I heard Ariel say, I watched it in the morning. I didn't even watch it in the morning. I checked for all the highlights. Yeah, just is what it is. I'm not gonna lie about it. But it's got to be talked about, right? Um, Whatever, bro. I don't know. I will say that a lot of people seem to think that Jorge won at 6-4. A lot of people seem to think that he won at 6-4. There's no real proof Connor put that 500,000 on them, but if he did, he cleared more on that than they cleared on their guaranteed salaries. Everybody's coming out saying, if you think Nate would fight for 500 grand, woo, 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 you're crazy. How many copies do you think is sold at $80 a piece? Keep it real. You think they did 100,000 sales?
Fuck no, they'll be lucky to do like 50 or 60.
Right. So 50 would generate about 4 million bucks. You got to pay your venue, got to pay your broadcasting, got to pay your crew, you got to pay everybody on the fight card. You're probably eating up half of that, believe it or not, right there. Gone, right? So then you got Jorge and Nate were already taking almost $1 million bucks. So I mean, they're probably getting a bigger bag, but I just don't want to. I don't want people acting like, oh, they probably made 8 million bucks a piece, because that's not what happened. They probably made $1 million if Jorge was getting points, which it doesn't sound like he did, because he made a post that said, "Glad I don't have to worry about pay-per-view sales." So I'm gonna assume Jorge got 300 grand to box Nate. And Nate made $1 million to $1.5 million in profit. He might have made a little over that, but I'm not like making full estimates. You know what I mean? I think it probably did about 50,000 in sales. Nate also recently said that people don't know shit about UFC pay, and they pay good, and they pay more of their fighters, more money, is what he said. He said, at the top of boxing is getting way more, but the UFC is paying more fighters more money. Not questionable. We've been saying that shit for years. So I don't know. I think he called out Leon Edwards. Man, they stole my smoke on the MMA hour today, bro. Why didn't he call out Conor McGregor? Bro, that'd have been a couple $1 million bag. Call out Conor McGregor. You'll get a couple $1 million to go fight him in the UFC, and they're gonna sign you for it. They ain't signing you for no motherfucking Leon Edwards. He could have said, He could have said Conor McGregor's name Saturday night and made bigger headlines than anything all year long. I'll be honest, probably made bigger headlines than anything in the past 2 years. I mean, I can't think offhand anything that would be bigger than Nate Diaz beating Jorge Masvidal, even though washed up, in a boxing match, and then calling out Conor McGregor for the trilogy. They fucked up. But I wish we had those old spaces because you guys should remember me telling you the Conor McGregor Nate Diaz trilogy will happen in boxing. I literally said it in like the first fucking space we had. So, and at least 20 fucking spaces after that. That trilogy will happen when Conor gets out of MMA. The problem is it doesn't do as well. It sells more as a UFC fight than it does an boxing match. And they probably make more taking a cut from the UFC, would be my assumption. Usman, what up, bud?
So you don't think the that Nate has the chance to go back to the UFC at all, or what?
I do think he has a chance to go back to the UFC, but I don't think calling out Leon Edwards gets him there. I think he would have been the headline of Noche if he called out Conor.
That would have been sweet. That would have been sweet. Yeah, the Leon call out was just a waste of everybody's time. But
Bro,
go ahead.
you ever been to an Nate Diaz event?
Fuck no, man. I wish.
Bro,
I I'll tell
the
you
fan
this.
is so intense, bro.
I've been to a Leon Edwards event, and the fans are asleep.
Listen, bro, I went to Conor Nate 1, and I had the mother of my first three children was with me, right? We're in the arena, and Conor taps, and we're standing there for maybe 60 seconds. And I look at her, I'm like, it's time to go. And she's like, I want to see that. I said, listen to it on the way out. Let's go. She was like, we ain't got anywhere to go. I said, let's go. She's like, what the fuck? Then she looks around. There's literally like 6 fights broke out. And I'm not talking about like one guy versus one guy. Crowds of people fighting crowds of people. Nate Diaz lost, and his fans were so angry they literally started fighting people. That shit is intense, bro. And Conor fans were about that life. We were we walked out is like it felt like we were walking through lines of people beating the shit out of each other. I mean, it wasn't that, it just felt like that. Like there was so much fighting going on. And when you go back and watch the replays and when they're filming shit in the UFC, I swear to you, they put that camera on one side of the arena specifically because the other side had broke out in fights fucking everywhere. Like it was insane. No, that's why they don't want him on Noche, right? Fuck the sphere up. Dana's like, I ain't got no goddamn waiver for that shit. Uh anyway, that's my rant about that. Darren Till boxed. Uh Guy got dropped, said he couldn't go on. They called it a TKO. Um After the guy realized that it was a TKO, the guy said he couldn't go on. So I think he thought Darren was going to get called for catching him behind the ear, if I'm understanding correctly.
No, no,
And when
no.
they said,
He didn't get
okay,
dropped. They were shots to the back of the head, and after the ref separated him and started patting the back of his head, letting him know they were shots, that's when he fell to the floor. And I didn't catch any words, but I'm assuming that it was Darren Till calling him a pussy for backing out of the fight after all that shit happened that started the fight.
yeah, okay, well, that makes more sense. Again, not something I tuned in to see. And I got no shame in saying that shit. I'm a diehard fan, but these guys out here doing this boxing thing on these dumbass cards is I'm just not tuning in. I'll admit the Diaz card has some nice fighters on it though. Like that was a nice little card. But Darren got took down. I mean, he did, but I don't feel like oh boy was squaring up for a takedown and I don't know, whatever. I think the element of surprise is what I'm saying. Got that done. But people are clowning Darren pretty bad. Darren Till will make the worst exit from MMA, from combat sports in his generation of MMA. He will. I believe that with all my heart. Ozzy, nice to have you on the mic, bud.
Hey,
My
hey,
daughter's
fellas,
out
how are
here.
you?
Not bad, not bad. My daughter's out here giving me a hard time right now. Tom Aspinall, eight. All right, so it looked like AP versus Tom was heating up. You guys seen that? Everybody felt that, right? Tea Time Gossip wants to mic if someone can get him approved. Throw your hand up, T, if you want to get on the mic. You're more than welcome to comment on any topic we got. We do have a structure here, though. We're hitting through topics. At the end of the topics, if I'll ask if there's anything I missed, if anybody wants to talk about. So it looks like AP versus Tom was getting ready to become a thing, like legit become a thing. And then now it looks like AP is fighting Magomed at 308. Usman, did you see that in any official fight announcements?
Nothing official, but I did see the post that you were talking about. The guy, he verges on the line between, I can't remember what his name was, like the pages, but he verges on the line between, he'll do official stuff right as it's posted to make it seem like he has some leads, and then sometimes he'll just be posting some troll shit. So hopefully, I'm hoping that it's a troll job.
Yeah, seems crazy. A little bit of stir up over it. So Joshua said that he thinks AP should box. Magomed hit the internet and was like, "You're just trying to get an easy W. Uh, he should be next." And then makes the comments, AJ would never come to MMA because they would hurt him, which we all know is true. The problem is AP is a real star. And the UFC knows they can do something special with him right now. Whether it's Tom, John, something in between. Um, Giving him Magomed is like risking dumping that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's a lot of risk for the UFC. It's not that I'm saying Magomed shouldn't get it or that the UFC wouldn't give it to him, but if they can make another big money fight on AP between or two, they're gonna do it. Nobody wants to see him fight Magomed. Usman.
Well, for one, Magomed shouldn't get it. He doesn't deserve it. Two, no need to worry. AP beats him. But three, what I was going to really want to talk about was, I know you touched on it about the stardom of Alex Pereira, but for Joshua to be calling him out or at least saying, "Come over here to my sport," it definitely seems like he sees some rub in some of that stardom. But to see somebody as big and somebody who makes the money that Anthony Joshua does call out somebody like AP really kind of puts things in perspective when it comes to star power.
Oh yeah. The other thing to remember and realize too, bro, is Saudi Arabia is putting on all the fights we want to see and they're paying all the money, right? Like that's a big deal, right? They're gonna build boxing to the sky, right? Uh they're selling boxing. You're giving us what we want to see, and there's nothing else we want to see. Once those fights are over, once those 6 or 7 fights you had to put on for us are over, it's over. Nobody's tuning in. You can't overpay for boxing because nobody's tuning in. You guys all know that I'm right about that too. You got some boxing enthusiasts. That's fine. Boxing enthusiasts won't carry the sport. That's already been proven. They won't do it. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I see the money in boxing actually starting to die whether they want to admit it or not. Gossip T. I don't know if you go by T. I can't see what your display name is because I got a bunch of stuff up here. But T, nice to have you on. Go ahead and get after it.
Hey guys, hey Aussies, good to see you. I'm good friends with Colin Crandall, who owns the MMA Power Hour as well. I'm not sure if you guys mess with Colin or not. He's a really good friend of mine. But going back to AP, Alex Pereira, I feel like the smartest thing for him to do would be just stay with the UFC. You're on a streak. He's decided, I think, to move up in weight, which I think is John Jones's territory. I think a great fight would be Aspinall and Pereira, and winner gets Jones. I think that'd be a good matchup. I'm not sure if you guys agree with me or not, but I feel like he'd have more of a name for himself fighting in the UFC than if he went to boxing, at least in my opinion.
We agree with you so much that we started having that conversation the day after AP beat Erie the first time in this space. Connor J, who bounces in and out because he works and shit, me and him have gone rounds and rounds and rounds about that fight. Yeah, I agree with you. That fight should happen. Tom versus AP. Winner gets John after he fights Stipe. Usman.
Yeah, what I was going to say was I think it like I never even thought about that. We've gotten Ngannou Fury, we've gotten Fury Usyk. All we need is Joshua to finish up this quadruple trifecta, whatever the hell you want to call it, between the heavyweights, and then move down to, I guess, Canelo and Benavidez, and then the four smaller guys of Fimo, Tank, Shakur, all of them guys. And yeah, you're 100% right. Boxing, I mean, I'm a
It's
casual,
dead from
but
that
yeah,
point.
yeah, that's
It's dead.
there's not anybody else that I really, really, really care to see.
People can talk shit all they want that Floyd didn't fight Pacquiao when he should have. If he did, it would have crippled boxing. They had to not fight each other. It you just have to understand that boxing is broken and that it doesn't really have the power, the star power that everybody thinks it does. Yeah, I mean it does, but not in the big picture. And Fuego, nice to have you on the mic, bud. Get after it.
What's going on, everyone? I was going to tell you, I was in the crowd in section 103 for this leg kick of AP on Yuri. And I've been to many UFC events and seen many main events. And this one was a little bit different. There was no seat that was empty. The crowd was electric. Nobody was leaving like I typically see in some of the main events. AP has just really done some work to get the crowd, on his side as a fan favorite, and it blows my mind because he doesn't speak any English. So it's crazy. It's good. I hope he stays in the UFC. What I saw was second to only, Gaethje getting knocked out by Max, which I saw at the T-Mobile as well. But it was awesome.
Yeah, I've been there a bunch of times too. I know what you mean about cards that stay packed till the end. It's not it's not as prevalent as people would think it is. A lot of people start leaving mid fucking main event. T, get after it, but go ahead. T's either muted or away. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm here. Okay, so unpopular opinion, and I don't want to get burned at the stake when I say this. However, the height of the UFC, we had a GSP. He was marketable. He had a look. He had like the pizzazz. We've had several fighters have the look and have the pizzazz, but now that the fighters that we've known, even John Jones is getting older. Okay, so the fighters that we kind of grew up between, let's say 2000, 2005, 2007, have now kind of started to age. Correct. Now the thing is with me is that this new breed of fighting, the Eastern Europeans are coming and doing really well, but are they marketable? We're talking about boxing no longer being relevant. However, if the UFC doesn't have a star power, do you see it turning into boxing where if we keep getting the people who do not speak English as, let's say, the champs, and I'm not trying to be turned into, socialism or anything like that. I'm trying to be a social thing. But if we continue to get people who do not have a look and do not have like the English or the star power, can the UFC end up turning into boxing?
Not likely. So the UFC is making a strong push into the Asian and Indian market. Speaking English through India and Asia, at least as a second language, is like as common as speaking Spanish in America as your second language. Like there's parts of Asia that they require that you speak English. There's parts that don't, but it's at least broken English amongst most of it. So as long as you can transition most of the fighters over with English, even though if there's superstars that like Sakuraba never spoke English, right? He was a massive fucking star. You got to realize the market size in Asia and the market size in India. We've talked about it in here. You could not be that big of a star in Asia and draw in a 500 million views, and you know the majority of Asia still doesn't even know who the fuck you are. Um, Yeah, it's a crazy market over there. India's the same way. They want Indian fighters so bad. There's no pool. It's not something they do, but they want them so bad it's insane. Usman.
I was gonna say it's also, I don't know if it's the UFC or the agents, the managers that push these fighters to speak English as well, because if Pereira and Charles Oliveira are basically kind of the only one. You even see somebody like Zhang Wei Li who tries her absolute best, and even in the broken English, it's kind of cute.
Nah,
You
bro.
know.
It's I meant to say it's Brazilians. I meant to say that a minute ago. Brazilians do not have to speak English to be stars in the United States. I
E-
don't know why it's that way.
Even
That's the
then, I
truth.
mean, Pantoja fucking gave us one of the moments of the year speaking English in his broken fucking English.
Aldo still doesn't speak fucking English.
Aldo speaks English. I know he does. That son of a bitch. He's lying.
Yeah, show me where.
Oh no, I don't, but I know he does.
uh yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like Brazilians have that crossover because I don't know, like they're just so ingrained in the sport. They seem like the only people that can do it. Plus they're good looking
Hold on.
people probably, right? So they got that look. Whoever was saying that, they got that
Yeah.
look.
They do. And one important thing is that because of the jiu-jitsu, see, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I think in Brazil, it's kind of like our African soccer. It's kind of like their thing. So I think having that legacy of the Gracies is like you're respected as a Brazilian if you fight because they have that legacy. Even if you're not directly linked to the Gracies, that jiu-jitsu in Brazil is kind of like maybe a rugby team in New Zealand or Australia, or maybe their kung fu in China.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like you're
Even shoot to box, like they've got a few spots there. Like it is definitely one of those things. I agree with you. But like their culture with it is everybody talks about Asia when you go back to fighting and martial arts and shit. But man, Brazil is deep in the thick of it. Man, did y'all hear what Ryan Garcia said?
Are you No, saying all what? that No, stuff that we can't repeat?
Oh, I'm
I was
not
about to
gonna
say.
repeat it. I'm just asking. Did y'all hear him?
I was gonna ask. Can you repeat what he said for me? Cause I didn't hear anything he
I'll
said.
say
No,
it.
I'll say it.
I should have put it in Darce though and had Darce repeat it just so I could be like, well, I didn't fucking do it. Yeah, no, I'm not making a joke of what he said. He's having a break. Listen though, listen. Everybody sometimes is like, Joe, you're fucking crazy. But then most of some of the time, you guys are like, bro, you called that shit. I think Ryan Garcia is trying to get released from his contract with the Oscar De La Hoya.
I was thinking the same thing. It was giving me flashbacks to Kanye and Adidas with all the anti-Jew stuff that he was saying. Like I was literally on the same page, brother.
I think he's trying to get out of his contract for real. He's training MMA, and I'm not saying to get to the UFC. Um, I think Ryan Garcia wants out of his contract, and I think that there is a small possibility that somebody may come out and say, "Yeah, we had that whole thing planned. Yeah, it was wrong. Yeah, it was this, but we had that whole thing planned to get Ryan out of his contract." I think that may happen. Dead picks, get after it.
So he did all that to get dropped from his contract, theoretically, but he got banned from fucking one of the boxing organizations. I forgot which one it was actually. It's blanking out. I think it was WBC or one of the promotions. He got banned for life from. So like that's one promotion right there, like out the window.
I
So
don't think he's seen that coming, if I'm being honest.
right.
I don't think he's seen that coming. I still just think there may be some ploy here to get out of his contract. He's got a lot of money, and Oscar's getting a lot of money out of him. Yeah, I would beg to argue if Oscar De La Hoya loses that Ryan Garcia money, he snorts all the rest of his money away in 5 years. Usman.
I was just going to say, I don't know if y'all saw Zach Pauga's comments on it. Definitely not down with the racism and whatnot. He doesn't seem to be as well. But I kind of was vibing with what he was saying in the sense of like, hey, it wasn't right what he said, but in boxing there are convicted rapists and murderers and sexual assaulters and all kinds of women beaters and whatnot, and they are still allowed to go and punch somebody in the face. And there's that old saying: if you can't make a living beating the shit out of somebody, what can you make a living out of? So I don't know exactly where y'all lie on it, but I kind of was understanding where Pauga was coming from.
I completely understand where he's coming from, to be honest. And I'm a guy who is very right is right on all sides when it comes to racism. I grew up in a little bit different environment than most. I grew up in schools where, white people were 10 and 800. So, um, whatever, it was cool. But you see that, racism has two sides, meaning that, like, when you group any group of people together, it's easy for them to use that to pick on another group. So, um, I'm a person who thinks it can't go anyway. So I take issue with, like, even what Devin Haney said. And I ended up in a debate on Twitter after what Ryan Garcia said. My point was just that they were both wrong. Um, and the person was trying to press me that no, Devin Haney wasn't wrong. And I'm like, bro, wrong is wrong. So I don't agree with anything Ryan said. I don't think it's uh, I think it's pretty shitty, even if he is trying to get out of his contract. But I still believe he's trying to get out of his contract. Gossip, go ahead.
Hey guys, I was to say I gotta go because my wife needs me for something. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow back, and I'll catch you guys on again. Okay.
All right, bud. Good to talk to you. We do this every Tuesday, man. Whenever you can jump in.
All right. Thank you. See you guys later.
See you later. All right, boys. We're running out on the time here, like we always do. Let me hit through them here. Mikey C is getting fucking cooked online, despite saying he could get a title shot. He says he wants to fight Islam. We actually talked about this last week. He's just still getting cooked. I thought I'd shout that out. I actually posted to Eric. I don't want to say his last name wrong. The lawyer, the MMA lawyer dude. I don't know if he'll respond. Mark Hunt.
McCracken.
The
Yeah.
ambulance chaser.
So, yeah, the ambulance chaser. But what I want to know is, so Mark Hunt has been suing the UFC for like 7 years, and none of his personal lawsuits have come to fruition. But he takes to social media continuously through all of this, bashing all of them. At what point does it become defamation? Like, how many lawsuits can you lose before the UFC, just to be pricks and just to run him out of money so he has to shut up, can just turn around and be like, all right, we're just gonna sue you for defamation of character? And it's not the UFC. Like, he's personally after Hunter Campbell, personally after Dana White, personally after Joe Silva. He's personally after these people, but none of his lawsuits hold up. Like, I just feel at some point it, you know, he's just running them through the mud for fucking nothing. It's defamation. I don't know if anybody's got any comments on that. I just feel like, man, the shit is getting out of fucking hand. John Jones says he's fighting MSG November 9th. We already knew that. Usman?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I don't think that they try and sue him back for defamation or anything like that, just because it kind of further enforces the image that he's trying to push of they're the bad guys. So, and at the end of the day, man, every time I see his picture, his some videos that he posts online, I think dude is looking like he's stressing and aging quickly. So it can't be good for his health either.
Yeah. I actually feel bad for Mark, man. I wish he could find something else in life. In MMA with meaning. I feel like a lot of people looked up to him, and he could have did something different instead of whine and cry that he lost a fight to Brock Lesnar. In Fuego.
Yeah, I think Usman's got it right on the target. I mean, I think if I were an advisor to Dana White and the crew, they just do nothing and don't even comment on Mark Hunt. He just kind of at this point, Joe, like you said, he just looks kind of sad. He kind of looks like a sad, old, washed up, disgruntled fighter. And I don't think that's the intent of what he wants to look like. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But I think their approach should be just to leave it alone, and eventually he'll go away, or the fans will just have had enough. You know what I mean? Because it's just a sad situation.
Yeah, I personally have had enough for a while. I had no problem with Mark Hunt wanting to file the lawsuit he did, but when you lost, bro. Like, and I have I don't want to go down the road of this conversation again, bro. But in drag racing, if you chase someone, meaning if they take off early on a street race and you chase them down, then you race them. Meaning, if you win, you want to get paid. So if you lose, you still got to pay. Mark Hunt knew Brock Lesnar was on the juice. And if he won, he wanted all that money. But now he's whining and crying because he lost and he didn't get that extra pay. Fuck him. Ilya did an interview with some Spain outlet in Spain. It was translated. He says he's waiting on Max, but Max has family issue going on. No, you can never tell if the translation is correct, but Max did reply to that message, which was translated with a voiceover, saying, "Here he goes making up stuff again. I've been ready." Yeah, we've talked about the fight. I'm just letting you know it seems like it might be coming to fruition sooner or later. Kind of backtracking, streamer Neon decided to ask Nate Diaz if he would retire when he gets knocked out by Jorge Masvidal. Neon was chased out of the arena by uh, the Diaz Army or whatever the fuck whatever his camp is called now. Izzy faced off with DDP. Said DDP commented Izzy is not as big as he thought, and he is in big trouble because of that. He also says he thinks Izzy wants to retire and should have retired. He just wants fame fights. He doesn't really want title fights. Usman.
Yeah, I'll try and hit one while I can, rapid fire. For the whole Max Ilya thing, I don't know who's telling the truth. I don't know when they'll book it. Personally, I didn't give a damn about Riyadh Seasoning sponsoring UFC Noche. I think a lot of the Mexicans will be pretty pissed if they have a Spaniard main event that card, but that's just my opinion. And then the whole neon thing, like, God, I don't watch streamers. So
I don't give a damn about them. I'm just tired of seeing them invade the whole MMA space. I probably hate MMA journalism more than I hate the streamers, but at this point, I might be back on the journalist side. And then the last one, what was this last one?
Streamer Ilya. I think that was it, bro. I was going on about Mark Hunt
Oh,
before that.
no. If you're a DDP better like me, that face
Oh
off
yeah.
and that conference definitely made me feel a hell of a lot more confident, man.
Yeah, I'm starting to like Drinkus there too. Didn't have a confident pick before. Last couple things. Clarissa Shield let internet troll who's been trolling her come to the gym. They say it lasted 30 seconds. It lasted about 8 seconds once Clarissa just walked until she backed her into the corner, and then she beat the shit out of her. Real low class about it though. Like Sean Strickland beats the fuck out of him, but then he shows him respect, gives him a good post online, tells them they're a man, tries to be like, hey, you did it, you fucking said you would do it and you did it. So good for you. She wasn't like that. She stood at the corner of the ring going, you said 2 rounds, bitch. You said 2 rounds. I'll beat her fucking ass. Her and her homegirls talking shit. Low class as fuck. Far different levels. Like, I kind of was like, man, like, I didn't really like the gimmick. I understood, like, with the Navy SEAL, because, all right, the Navy SEALs are calling you out saying they'll beat your ass, or Green Berets or whatever the fuck it was. I understood that one. But Sean beating up streamers, I'm like, this is bullshit. But, with seeing the low class that Clarissa did it with, man, it made me respect Sean Strickland more. If you haven't seen it, find it. It's fucking ridiculous. Yuri's already talking about quitting. Fade that man. Fuck him. Coach says he should move to 185 and try to reset. He should fucking do something. Hey, Jamal Hill ran into AP, like walked past him at International Fight Week, and they made eye contact, and Jamal stopped and shook his hand. And then it got recorded and he got trolled for it. So he went to the internet saying, I respect that man. I never had a problem with him. It's the game. Blah, blah, blah. Nah, bro, you've been crying about AP and Herb Dean for a minute now. I don't want to hear that shit. All right. Last thing I got, Cosm, which is an LED dome, kind of like an IMAX theater, though, is doing 8K fights. UFC pay-per-views will be aired there in 8K. They're making a big deal about it. The theaters here do UFC pay-per-view cards. They've been doing them for a while, so just something I've seen. Last thing, Mark Goddard revealed that he has a connection to Leon Edwards through a gym when Leon first started training, and they had rolled and trained together. So you've never seen him ref a Leon fight, and you never will. He doesn't want the controversy. And Alexander Volkanovski wants to move to 155. He wants to fight Charles or Dustin. That man is cooked, boys. He's fucking over with. Alexander Volkanovski is now a fade. It doesn't bother me to say it. That's it. That's all I got. 40 minutes, 10 minutes over. Time to get into the card a little bit. Man, I don't see Mike tonight, but I don't know. I ain't really talked in the group chat, so I don't know if he said he couldn't make it or what. But we can go ahead and bust into the card here. UFC Denver, main event, Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Super crazy good card here. All right, I'm lying a little bit, but it's not a horrible fucking card. I think it's kind of a low key is a pretty good card here. Usman, you ready to do this thing, bud?
Gotcha, brother. Run him down.
All right, so I believe. All right, I don't know whose order to use here. So the odds board switches it a little bit. Wikipedia, which I like because I just always check the card info there. Here, we'll go over to UFC stats just to get the order. UFC stats says first fight of the night is Damon Blackshear versus Montel Jackson. They're fighting at bantamweight. Odds on these guys: Damon Blackshear is plus 124. That's the average over 34 books. Montel Jackson is minus 154, average over those same 34 books. If you were on Cap MMA right now, both of these guys got blue lit up. They've got some articles written about them. I'll be honest. I was on Damon Blackshear for a while. Even through a loss, I really, I thought he was the side in some fights. I'm not sure I see what I thought I seen in him. And I think Montel Jackson being a minus 150 favorite is probably accurate, but I have little to no interest in betting this fight. Montel Jackson isn't a fighter that I'm confident to bet, and the over does not seem. I don't feel confident enough in the over to say that I'm going to play it in a parlay. Usman, what do you got on this one, bud?
So I tipped off this bet last week when the fight got announced. It still hasn't dropped on Bet Online, so I don't think it has dropped on any books yet because I think when it comes to the props, they're pretty quick with it. But I think the perfect bet for this one is going to be Damon Blackshear plus 3.5 on the point spread. I think if we're looking at a gas issue, especially with the elevation, he can come out hard in short notice for that first round, try and implement his grappling and at least steal the first round on all three cards, and then we cash a bet no matter what. Hopefully, we get some good odds on that. But I think that's something that I'll be taking when it comes to the fight specifically. I was going to say both of us were. I remember both of us were on him against Mario Bautista, and looking back at it, that was a great fight. It was a close fight. Mario Bautista has shown to be, whether it was a loss or a win, whatever you want to call it, it was a good name on his record. And Montel Jackson is just pretty good as well. It just depends if Montel can stop them takedowns. He'll probably be able to have an edge on the feet. Don't pick a side. I say pick the over. When it goes to the split strap, it says goes to split plus 400, goes the distance minus 180. You're getting over 2.5 at minus 210. Both of those are telling us to hit the over. I always go an over parlay on the first four fights, and that'll be one of the legs over 2.5.
I mean, I'm not mad at it when you reason it out that way. You didn't convince me though. I just to be clear about that. Anybody else hands up on this fight? If not, I'm just gonna roll on. It's not a fight I feel like we need to kill by any means. I feel like there's a couple we'll talk about. I just don't think this is one of them. All right, next up, Andre Petroski and Josh Fremd. These guys, let me see if I get the odds here. 35 books, minus 112 on Petroski, minus 111 on Fremd. The over is set at 1.5, and over 1.5 is minus 188. Under 1.5 is plus 145. I know that it may feel risky and seem risky, but I like Josh Fremd here, and I think I'm going to play him in a stack. Yeah, I don't know that I'll touch the over. The over is very enticing to me. I think that man, I don't know. It's one of them ones. I could see, in my opinion, Josh Fremd could get it done early and fuck that up. But I do think I like Fremd. Usman.
Same, but different. I think if you want somebody to end it early, I think it is going to be Petroski. Gets a big punch, knocks him down, finds the sub, probably early in the first round. If you're on Fremd, I think you go with the history of what's his name, Petroski looking to be a little gassy, especially here at elevation. He always comes out hard in the first round. And I think if you're going to hit the over, it's going to be because Fremd starts having his way a little bit and starts draining that gas tank of Petroski. So I also like Fremd. I like the over. Looking at the strat, uh, goes to split plus 400. That tells us to hit the over. Most of the time, it's on a 2.5. We're getting 1.5 and minus 185. Goes the distance, plus 175. It is. That's telling us it's definitely not going to go over. But we're at 1.5. Take that all day, in my opinion. So Fremd and then over 1.5 for me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Like I said, the over 1.5 looks real. Man, it looks tempting. That's the word I'll use. Tempting. Um. Next up should be Luna Santos or Lana Santos. I'm not actually sure how the first name is pronounced, but I know she is. And Mariya Agapova. Mariya Agapova is plus 280 over 34 books, and Santos is minus 395 over those same 34 books. The over is set at minus 105. The under is set at minus 125, and that is on the 1.5. Santos is an easy parlay piece here. My favorite thing until recently was the Jared Vandera effect that Mariya Agapova had on UFC watchers, where people just wanted to argue about how good she is. But she's not at this level. Yeah, I wouldn't take the over because I Santos could very well finish her. I feel the same way about this fight as I do the Fremd. If I say it wrong, I think I say Fremd, which is wrong. I feel the same way that it could happen early. I would feel more confident in Santos getting it done early than I would in Fremd getting it done early. So I like Santos in a parlay piece for sure. Even at minus 400, I just feel like it just adds. You can get like minus 350 on it from some books. So get what you can. Usman.
Agree. I'm on Santos. Over 1.5. Goes to split plus 400. Goes distance plus 140. Just hit the over, in my opinion. I think the only way that this does finish early is if these girls get to clinching up and Santos finds a trip with that judo and gets her down on the ground and finishes it there. But besides that, I think these girls will strike from a distance throughout that whole first round, and then we'll just be sweating 2.5 minutes to hit that over. I agree. Santos is a good parlay piece. If you go to Cap MMA, you'll probably be able to click on that blue and see that there are some. There's one story linked to Agapova with her getting subbed in like 35 seconds or something. But the story that I wanted to talk about isn't on there because it was a while back. But remember, she is the fighter that is absolutely 100% broke and is getting offered into sex trafficking and is having a really, really tough time. On the other hand, Luana has a thyroid condition. That's why her last fight was at 135. And now she is super trim and super fit back down to 125. So she's taking this serious, and the other one needs a paycheck.
Did you say that she's got a thyroid issue?
Yeah.
So they're letting her take an inhibitor?
I don't know if she's taking anything, but that's why her weight fluctuates, and that's why the Stephanie Egger fight was at 135.
Do you know about like T3 and T4 inhibitors?
I do not.
Bro, yeah, I've never taken them, but they're thyroid medication that people take to be that don't need them or have slight thyroid problems to be super focused. Like if you're heavy and you're exercising and they put you on a T3 or a T4, it's going to help your body burn, reactivate your thyroid so your body will do what it's supposed to. B, it gives you like hyper focus. So if your focus is training, like you're fucking hyper focused on training. I've known some people who took them because they had a thyroid problem. That's how they get them. But then they became like hooked on them because they would work all day and then they would take one before they left work and they would go home and study because they were in college for like fucking 6 hours. Like study like a fucking genius or something, bro. Like they were passing all their classes and shit. Like, I don't know, like how the fuck you got a thyroid problem in the UFC is like, yeah, you can still fight. Something has to fix it, is what I'm saying. So I don't know. Fate Agapova, Santos is on PEDs in my opinion.
Yeah, I went to check her Instagram earlier today when I caught wind of that. And she looks super fit. So she's doing something right.
Damn, I forgot Agapova was the chick that almost got sold into sex slavery or whatever. But here's what I have to say. What the fuck are you doing with your life?
I want to say that she got kicked out of ATT. That's Florida, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, I want to say she got kicked out of ATT for drug issues, and I'm not talking PEDs. I'm talking a little bit in the meth crack area. I'm not gonna say it was exactly
Yeah,
those
fucking
two, but
clearly, if you're hanging out with the type of people that are trying to sell you into sex trafficking, you're probably been into some shitty drugs. Would be my opinion. Like if she didn't just say she almost got sold, it wasn't like she got kidnapped. She said, "I didn't know they were selling me."
yeah, it was like, hey, stay in this free room I'm offering you, and when people come over, just don't worry about it, kind of stuff.
Yeah, just say hi and talk about yourself. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, what was the fucking situation? All right, we've derailed on that a little bit too much. Up next is Jasmine Jasudavicius and Fatima Kline. I don't know shit about Fatima Kline. It's either Fatima or Fatima. They're spelled the same, so I don't know how she pronounces it. I guess I'll find out on Saturday. Um, I don't know anything about her. I'll be honest. I have no idea who she is. So I'm hoping that you do, Usman.
Hey, look at us. Look at us. The only thing I know and the only thing I need to know is she's 6-0, man. Only from what I've seen or heard, she's pretty good. Honestly, the only thing that I really needed to care about when it came to this fight was yeah, she has a hell of a lot of grappling fights with a lot of submissions, but it's different. It's different when you're getting punched in the face. I watched that Jasmine Jasudavicius fight, or I watched some tape on her, and the girl's tough. She's going to be pushing forward the whole time. You know, she's going to have a wrestling game. So if you're going to get scared about anything, bet Fatima by submission, just in case she finds a slick sub. But for the most part, I think it's over 2.5. And I think Jasmine just puts the pressure on her, melts her at 5,800 feet and gets a decision win here.
Bro, 34 books. Jasmine is the dog, minus 105. Fatima is minus 119. I know
Yeah, it would.
she's got to be coming in
There was
hot.
some weird line movement. There was some weird line movement with this fight, man. So I don't know, man.
Bro,
I just think Jasmine
Jasudavicius
is
has
still
only
gonna get
lost to
decided.
Cortez. That's her only loss.
Yeah, yeah. I'm on Jasmine. Goes to split plus 250. Goes the distance minus 325. Just hit the over on a parlay and you'll be fine.
Fuck that over. How do you know that chick ain't gonna come in and shit the bed?
Honestly, you're right. I wish I would have gotten Jasmine at that plus 125 or plus 145. I'm telling you, this line movement was ridiculous. I get you, but I didn't get her at that money. So I'll take Jasmine money line whenever the Saturday comes.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. Up next, I don't see hands. I'm not trying to skip everybody, but if I don't see hands, I just I keep rolling in here. So I know different spots do it different, and I don't have no problem with that. It's just how we do it here. No hands. We just roll the fuck on. So, up next, Abdul, Razak, Alhassan versus Cody, Brundage. Both guys coming off losses. Both got a gang of UFC fights. Cody Brundage is plus 130. Abdul is minus 161. The over 1.5 is set at plus money, plus 110, minus 140 on the under. Take the over, man. Yeah, I know, right? Take the over. That shit's going over. I think they're counting on Cody Brundage getting his ass whooped. It's man, that shit is going over in my opinion. I think Cody probably stretches him to the second or third round, maybe even to a decision. I wouldn't doubt that Cody finishes him late. Yeah, just my guess, but that over looks real nice at plus 110. Usman.
Yeah, I think they put that over plus money just because you see two dudes that tend to finish, and I feel like sometimes that's a sign to go ahead and hit the over, or they're going to be tentative on each other's power. We'll talk about that later. Just to hit the split strap, I'm not going to bring up the numbers. It's saying it's not going to go over at all. It's not anywhere clear, close to going over. But with these 1.5s, I always tell y'all we might have a bad night because we know certain fights are going to go over and they're set at the 1.5 mark. Uh, man, I don't know what's the thing. Like, people wanted to shit on Bo Neckel for the Cody Brundage fight. I would have rather given Cody Brundage some props. I thought he's usually an all offense kind of guy. Comes out, take my chin, submit me. I'm gonna take you down, or I'll take your chin and submit you. I thought he showed some good defense in that one, and that's gonna be exactly what we need for it to hit the over and stretch out. I think people think Razak is also a gas bag as well. He did win a third round. He has won a third round in the UFC against Buckley, so that's something to keep note of as well. Elevation, elevation, elevation is going to be the thing, the story all night. But I'm not going to pick a side. I'm not going to parlay it. I'll just put the money line on that over. Or, you know what I'm trying to say. I'll hit the over.
Yeah, bro, because he took Bo Nickel over. And like, look at Abdul lately, bro. His last 3 fights have made it to the second round. The second round, third round. There was a first round finish against fucking Deshirio, and then before that it was a decision. Like when I think when some of these lines, overs and unders, these cappers got to go through this shit, and they're looking at average fight times. That's great. There's a lot of first round finishes, but like even in the UFC, I mean, I can literally name a whole bunch of fighters you don't even know who they are right now because those are the dudes that he beat. Um, and everybody that he's lost to, you'd be like, yeah, I know who that guy is. So I don't know. I don't think Abdul is that great, and I don't even think he should be the favorite against Cody Brundage. But whatever, that's just my opinion. I think the over's good money at plus money. Take that shit. That's that.
I mean, even looking at even looking at his losses, you have Lazez, Omari Akhmedov, Jacob Malkoon, uh, even Joe Pfeiffer, even though we don't see it much, those are all like guys that can wrestle. You'd think that coming off of a super heavy grappling background or camp for the Bo Nickel fight, Cody might want to put some grappling in. The over's a hit.
I mean, it might look a little greasy for a minute, but I don't think it's full sweat. Zabets, nice to see you on the mic, bud. Get after it.
Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Yeah,
You today. I was trying to get Aussie approved. There we go. All right, get after it.
I agree with both with you and Usman. Kind of only in Brundage on this fight. I think his path to victory has to be wrestling. And for Abdul, I think his path is knockout. And yeah, that's it.
Ozzy, get after it, bud.
All right, yeah. Sorry about that, mate. This Outback Australia's messing with my internet. Cody, so yeah, I don't mind some Cody round three. I think it was you that said it, Joe. He's probably maybe get a late finish.
Yeah.
This is altitude. Razak, I mean, he's a one round fighter. If he doesn't get you out in the first round, I mean, the getting you out in the second round is probably not that likely. And then Razak winning round three, I think, is very low. So I don't mind some Cody Brundage. I think he's going to need to get takedowns to win this fight. And if he does, he's probably going to gas Razak out. And if Razak manages to keep it standing, it's probably going to be Cody that gasses quicker. So this might be a decent live betting spot. See who's really gassing quick. If Cody's getting the takedowns, then um, I really like Cody late. So yeah, I'll probably take some Cody round three sub or something like that.
Yeah, don't. I mean, look at the odds on the Cody decision too. Like, I mean, it's possible he doesn't have to finish him. Um, man, I think if it goes past 7 minutes, it's got to be Cody's fight from there. That's just my
Yeah, I
opinion.
agree. Yeah, I agree. Do you have the round props yet? Like, what is Cody round
One and
three?
a. Oh no, I don't have him per fighter, and I don't have it
Yeah,
open.
okay. Yeah.
But
I'm hoping it's a good number, but in Denver, these altitude fights, sometimes the bookies, they lower that round three prop a little bit. So yeah, we'll see what we get. But I'm expecting a bunch of late finishes if people are gassing. So hopefully this is one of them.
we need to go.
So Austin, let me hit you with these props here. Cody Brundage round three plus 1,000, and then we are going round three submission plus 2,000, and round three KO plus 2,000.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a better number, to be honest. I'm hoping to get kind of 30 to 1 for the round three sub. Um,
So
yeah.
hey, just a question, man, because I always just look at this shit the way I see it. So it's 30 to 1 would be plus 3,000 or the plus
Yeah,
2,000. What I'm
that's
saying?
right.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right, all right, all right.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. It's
surprised the
just
submission and the KO is the same. Yeah.
Well, I was going to tell you, man. Uh, fuck picking a knockout or submission round three. Just take round three because who knows? He's on top. He takes his back, flattens him out, hunts for the freaking choke, and then just starts punching the shit out of the back of the head, and it's over. Like,
Yeah,
for
you kind of have to. I'd rather pay twice the amount and have both outcomes covered than just to pick one, Yeah, so 100%. Yeah, I like the round three, hoping for better than plus 1,000 though. So I'll hunt around for some books for that for sure.
yeah, when guys get gassed, they start doing stupid things. So I feel you.
all right. Next up, Julian Erosa versus Christian Rodriguez. Man, did I just
Hold on, brother.
what?
Did you skip Joshua Van and Charles Johnson?
No, it's not on the list.
Like it's not on your list at all?
Nah. Shit. Did I just close the fucking odds board out? What the fuck did I just do? No, I don't have that fight. Let me see if it's on the board. Look,
Yeah, it's on the board. Is it?
you got odds on it?
Oh no, it's not on our board. That's weird. Yeah, I got odds on it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
no.
Joshua Van is minus 230. Charles Johnson is plus 169. I like Charles. Yeah, that's how that's gonna go for me. I like the dude, so I'm gonna have a hard time betting against him. Joshua Van is a very talented guy, though, and Charles Johnson probably wins the third round for sure. Usman.
Oh my goodness, is my mic on? Hold on, hold on. Yeah, I don't know, man. I do not know.
Both of these guys come on real hard later. Elevation, you know all that. You hit the over, goes to split plus 240, goes the distance minus 300. That's telling you hit the over. Over 2.5 minus 340. Hit it straight. Put it on a parlay. You'll be fine. I like Van by decision. I don't think either of these guys are going to get the finish, even if they are tired. And I've been telling y'all, man, Charles Johnson is just the American version of Zalgas Zamagulov. He's good. He's fun to watch. He's always going to lose a very, very close fight. He's always going to give you an over. He's always going to give you a decision. So if you like him, go ahead and take both of the fighters by a split decision or by decision, because I think that's the way it goes. But I'm on Van.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Zabets.
Sheesh, I think Usman's stealing my notes because I got the over in this fight too. Um, Charles Johnson, he's an experienced like all around athlete. I know he's been to Olympics, so like he's kind of really good in the like just being an athlete and like a pro. And he's the new up and comer. I don't think he's gonna finish Charles Johnson. I don't think he's been finished. So I see this going the distance.
Yeah, you heard me say it right away. Charles Johnson wins round 3. It goes the distance for sure in my head. It's just a matter, honestly, I think it's a matter of round 2. I think this is every other Charles Johnson fight all over again. Um, if Charles doesn't steal round 1 or steal round 2, then he loses the fight. He's going to win round 3. I don't I don't think that Josh Van will be any different than mostly anybody else. Um, and Charles is plus money because he probably loses the first 2 rounds and then comes out and looks great in the third. If Charles could fight all 5-round fights, his record would probably look a little different than it does right now. That's wholehearted. But yeah, it's just, do you think he can beat Joshua Van in round 1 and round 2? It's kind of the question if you're going to try to bet him, because I think it goes to decision, easy money. All right, close that one out. Okay, so finally, are we on to Julian Erosa and Christian Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
34 books. Erosa is plus 171. Rodriguez is minus 213. The over is set at 2.5, minus 166 on the over. Man, I'm a guy who likes Julian Erosa. I'm a guy who likes to think, he can pull that upset. He ain't beat no motherfucking Christian Rodriguez. I know the over is set at real good money. Um, it probably hits. It's probably a good parlay piece. I'll probably look at something like fight to go the distance if I'm gonna parlay it, because probably get some different odds on that. People will probably hammer when it's over 2.5. That tends to get hammered a little bit more than fight to go the distance. So sometimes you can find little different odds for your parlay. But I think it definitely goes the distance, and I think it's lined correctly. That's all I got on that one. Usman.
Yeah, I think if you are looking for a hedge spot on that over, you just pit uh Rodriguez inside the distance. I know some people are going to try to sell what's his name, Erosa on a submission or something. I mean, we've seen C Rod deal with some Bulgarian submissions, deal with some what's his name, Rosa submissions, and I'm not saying they're the best, but the boy's gotten out of some tough spots. I think when it comes to the grappling, if C Rod needs to take him down, Erosa will lay on his back and try and fish for a submission. That's not going to happen. I think it's C Rod all the way. I think we're getting a pretty good price on him right now. So I'm all over C Rod. Like I said, if you're looking to hedge the over, you just hit C Rod inside the distance. Maybe he gets a knockdown on a chinny Erosa or a submission after he wobbles him. Goes to split plus 300, goes the distance minus 135. Both of those tell us to hit the over at minus 160. That's a gift right there.
Can I bet anywhere that Erosa jumps one gilly? Can I bet that somewhere?
Probably on like some DraftKings or FanDuel bullshit.
If I could find that shit, I'd take it because he's definitely jumping a gilly. It's I don't know why I know that. I just feel like in my heart you're gonna see Julian and Rosa jump a couple gillies in that fight. All right. Up next, Ange Loosa and Gabriel Bonfim, right? Gabriel Bonfim minus 340. Damn, 36 books. Loosa plus 270. The over 1.5 is set at minus 166. The under is plus 130. Um, I don't know. This is a really easy fight. I like Ange Loosa as a person. This is a really easy fight to cap. Just take Gabriel Bonfim. If you want to bet the over or the under, I guess take the over. Losa's probably good for it. But yeah, I mean, he's minus 340 because he should be. I'll be honest. I'll bet you people bet his ass all the way to minus 450 by the time this fight goes off. Usman. You're muted.
Am I
He's
muted? Hello? Can you
Gabriel
hear?
400.
Okay, wait. I heard you. Usman, are you there?
Yeah, hello? Can you hear me?
There you go. And I heard Zabet. All right, so you then Zabet.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the minus 400 or whatever it's gonna be by the time fight time comes, it's just gonna be a good parlay piece. Um, yeah, Angelus is pretty tough, so maybe it might hit the over. I'm not really going to touch it or mess with it at all. I'm willing to take some shots on the over 1.5s on other fights, not on this one, just because. For some reason, like we know what Angelus is gonna do. He's going to eventually shoot for a takedown. I think this could look exactly like what was it, the Trevin Giles fight, or was it the Monier Lazez fight, where what's his name, Bonfim just comes out like a bat out of hell, throws big ass shots, lands, and then Angelusa goes for a takedown, and then the knee, the God damn, the neck gets snatched up, and we're there at a round one submission or an early round two submission. So don't really want to touch the over on this one. If we're looking at the odds, goes to split plus 600, goes to distance plus 200. Yeah, don't touch it, even though it's a minus 160. I don't want to play that one at minus money for something that's so unsure. So I'm just on Bonfim.
Yeah, Bonfim probably finishes him in my opinion. So to me, it's just a matter of how quick. Yeah, I don't think that fight goes the distance. I don't even think the over is something to even look at. Uh, yeah, that's just how. I mean, that fight's a total skip for me, unless you just want to throw Gabriel in a parlay piece because he's good money. Like what if you're just when you're making your big parlay, Lana Santos and Gabriel Bonfim got to make the list even at their shit odds. Is my point. Ozzy, go ahead.
Yeah, mate. I kind of think Bonfim is we've seen him kind of get gassed in fights as it is. Now he's at that altitude. I'm assuming he probably gets a takedown early, maybe gets a submission on the ground. But if Loosa survives that first round, man, he's going to lose round one. I think at a big clip. So don't bet his money line. If Bonfim doesn't beat him in round one, then there might be some value on him. But I wouldn't bet him. Even at plus 300 pre-fight, I would wait till after that first round because if he loses, he's probably losing in round one. And if he wins, he's probably going to lose round one and then come back late. So, yeah, another live betting spot. But yeah, I might take some Bonfim under 1.5 rounds. I think the majority of his win equity is in that under 1.5. I think you can get that at close to even money. But I don't really like his money line at whatever it is, minus 400 or close to it. So yeah, definitely like he's under 1.5. And if it goes over that 1.5, I definitely like Loosa late. So yeah, we'll see. This fight will it'll either be a one-sided squash match or it might get really, really greasy later on. in the fight.
So my assumption, despite altitude, would be that Bonfim will take 1 and 2. So, like, if you're going to look at Loosa, I would probably look at a 3rd-round finish. As weird as that may sound, because I know you'll take spots that give you big odds because you have different because your math works that way. 3rd-round finish for Loosa probably gives you way better odds than Loosa by decision. I don't know. I don't know if that's kind of what you were saying or not, but probably a good spot to look at if you're looking for big odds on him. All right, I think that's that one. What's next here? I click around. I open all these fucking pages on these guys and shit while we're here. Drew Dober, Gene fucking Silva. Man, this is an exciting fucking fight. Fan in me absolutely loves this fight. Drew Dober minus 112, Gene Silva minus 111. That's the average, 36 books. So that's what you call a perfect fight. If the books are supposed to be taking 10% VIG, right? Fights are supposed to get set and then bet properly so that's what it looks like. So like that's a perfect line. That's literally what you would call a perfect line on a fight. I don't know if that's the right terminology, I guess, but that's what I would call a perfect line on a fight. Man, I love Drew Dober, and he's a fucking banger. Gene Silva's real hot. Hard fight. I've seen Drew Dober get knocked out a couple times of late. I was there live for one when Drew Dober got knocked out. Yeah, it's fucking hard, man. So, I don't know. I was not there when Drew Dober got knocked out. Who was? I don't know. I don't need to go off on that fucking tangent. Anyways, I don't know, man. I really like Drew Dober, but he lost to Moicano. He lost to Frivola. I just have a hard time betting on him. If you're gonna pick a side, I would probably take Gene Silva, to be honest. Yeah, and if you're playing the over-unders fight to go the distance, it's definitely fight to go the distance. No, if you can get some weird alt and a decent line on the under 2.5, fucking hammer that. The under 1.5, you might sweat it a little bit, but my assumption is these guys get after it and get it done in the first round. The under 1.5 is probably a good hit too. Um, I know there's some people who don't play unders, but under on this shit for me. Usman.
So, like 2 weeks ago, I came here and I told y'all that these fight nerds are taking fights that they can easily game plan for, and they know what they're gonna do, especially when it went to that Charles Jourdain fight. Probably went a little better than they expected with that knockout, being the first one to stop him. So it says something about Gene Silva's power. I don't like that this is short notice. Don't like that it's at elevation. I want to hit the over. We shouldn't be. I mean, look, actually, our line for hitting the over on the Ghost to split is plus 400. This is plus 450 on an over 1.5. We know Drew Dober has a hell of a chin. We know Gene Silva is 27 years old, and he probably isn't gonna get knocked out quickly. He's got that young chin, and if they do want to follow a game plan, we haven't seen him implement his grappling successfully in the UFC, but maybe they know, let's try and wrestle just like Renato did, and let's not take hella shots. I'd like to hit the over 1.5 here, minus 115. Hopefully I can get some plus money on it. Like you were saying, the lines are perfect when it comes to money line. I'm leaning Gene Silva as well. They got to be putting him on this card for a reason. They want to push him and everything. It's going to be a tough fight, but I'm on Gene Silva. Probably Gene Silva by finish, and then over 1.5. Let's sweat, boys.
Very nice. Very nice. I still think the under is a good hit. I don't know. I get iffy on under 1.5, man. I don't think it's hard to take a fight 7.5 minutes and then get clipped. I get real iffy about them, but I do think this is a good fight for an under. Zabet.
I feel like the books know that they can't give out Gene Silva at plus money no more because they already know he's gonna win this fight. I'm on Gene Silva. You said Dober fought Moicano, right, Joe?
Yeah, he lost a unanimous decision to Moicano.
And Gene Silva trains with Moicano, so he could probably help him out in that department. He probably took this fight knowing that he has an advantage over him, so I'll take Gene
So
Silva on this one.
he probably helped Moicano prep for Dober. Let's be honest. He probably helped him prep, so he's probably already got
True.
thoughts. You know what I mean? Yeah, I
Fact.
like Silva here. I like Silva here. I think it's a good spot, and I'm a big Drew Dober fan, and I think Drew Dober is a 50-50 fighter with anybody in his weight class. Um, that is a knockout artist. Like he's a real 50-50 guy, but man, I just like Gene Silva here. I just think he's a good spot. I can't help it. That's what I think. Um, let's see. Drew Dober got beat up by Bobby Green, right? I'm not looking at his stats right now. He got beat up by Bobby Green, right? I know he did. Up next is Muslim Salikhov and San, Santiago Ponzinibbio. What the fuck, man? I
Hey,
can
you
say
got
his
it. You
name. I
got
fuck
it.
that shit. And then I'm
Skip.
You
trying to
got it.
look at
Good
the
job. Round of
Argentine
applause.
dagger at the same time. Listen, but what I didn't know is his name is the Argentine dagger. What the fuck? And then King Kung Fu is Muslim Salikhov. Oh man, this is probably a really fun fight to watch. Muslim is plus 162. Santiago. I don't. I keep wanting to combine his two fucking names right now. I don't know what is wrong with me. Santiago is minus 204. The over is set at 1.5. Minus 115 over. Minus 115 under. Um. Yeah. I mean, what the fuck. Uh both of these guys got a bunch of fights, and both of them can lose real easily. Um, I don't know that I'll take a shot at Muslim at plus money. I won't. I won't bet. I probably will skip this fight. I'm a parlay better, and I don't really see a good spot here. I see a fight that probably, if I was going to force a spot, I would look at fight to go the distance, no, and see what type of odds I could get on that. If I was going to force the spot, or the under 2.5 is an alternative. If it's minus 115 on the 1.5, I'm assuming that the 2.5 wouldn't be that bad to get the under on that. So like if I'm hunting, if I'm like, man, these parlays kind of suck, I need another leg or two, I might land there with this fight. But that would probably be my only sincere interest in this fight. Usman.
Man, so go to Tapology, go to Muslim Salikov. His picture is in black and white. Yeah, he's 4 years old, but shit, he doesn't look 4 years old. He looks like 56. But I mean, he's fighting a 37-year-old Ponzinibbio as well. These are some old dogs. I know a lot of us were on the over 2.5 when it came to Salikov versus Randy Brown, and Randy Brown went out there and put him out in 1 round. So I feel like maybe we're getting some bounce back. But hey, we got two old dogs. Yes, Ponzinibbio. He hits hard, but he ain't finishing anybody. I don't think so. Not anytime soon. Went to a decision with Alex Morono. Remember that? And we all know what Morono looked like in his last fight. I don't think you pick a side. I think you hit the over. It's set at 1.5, goes to split plus 400. That's perfect for us. Tells us to hit the over. Goes the distance plus 120, right damn near the minus money on the goes the distance. You hit the over at minus 210. You'll be fine. That's a good little parlay piece. And if you really have to pick a side, it would be smart for Ponzinibbio to pull out some of the grappling that he used in the Randy Brown fight, but might just be me. Ponzinibbio tends to fade a little later and gives up these very close decisions. So you're choosing between two old men. Don't choose. Just freaking pick over.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't think it goes, man. I don't think it goes. Um,
1.5. It's not 2.5. It's 1.5.
yeah, I mean, probably. I can't disagree with that too much. All right. So I'm gonna skip that one because I think this the next one's gonna probably be the best conversation of the night, which it is supposed to be because it's the main event, which is Tracy Cortez versus Rose Namajunas. Rose is minus 227 over 35 books. Fight's been posted for 29 days. Tracy Cortez on books, guys. 29 days on books. Tracy Cortez is plus 180 over those same 36 books. Uh, over 4.5, minus 280. Under 4.5, plus 210. Um, all right, so we all love Tracy Cortez. Um, Everybody here is, secretly half in love with her as a UFC fighter, whether they want to admit it or not. It just is what it is. She's 11-1. Is she 7-0 in the UFC or 6-0 in the UFC or some shit? Um, and it's important to me. I'm just gonna say this real quick: Jasudavicius, Gato, Kish, Edgar, Mello, Agapova, right? Uh, Unanimous, 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 split, unanimous, unanimous. I fucking love Tracy Cortez as much as all all of you guys do. Um, I'm real curious to see what the Rose knockout prop is. I'm also real curious to see what the under 2.5 is. Um, Yay, I hope Tracy Cortez gets it done. Um, Yay, she's not Manning Farrat. She's not. It won't be that Carla Esparza fight because Tracy's not going to make it that Carla Esparza fight or let it be. I mean, we're talking about Ribas, Farrat, Whaley, Andrade, Jacek. Rose's pedigree's better than Tracy Cortez is. A lot of people seem to be in fucking denial about that, and I am not in denial about that. I really hope Tracy gets it done. I want to see the division move on with the new fighters. I'm a guy who, you guys know I'm always a guy who likes to see the divisions recycling and new names up at the top. I'm always talking about that shit. But Rose by 9.5, definitely bets I got to look at. And if they're nice enough, like maybe trash the rest of the night and skip it and bet Rose by one of them. I'm not kidding. Tracy Cortez has never, ever, 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 ever fought somebody that will hit her as hard as Rose has. It hasn't happened. None of them. None of them. She's gonna hit. She's gonna hit her so fucking hard if she gets the chance. Tracy, you're gonna see. You're gonna see like the the young tough girl get hit by a grown ass woman, and you're gonna see that look in her face of, oh shit, what did I do? I really think this is going to be one of them moments if Rose lands that overhand or anything close to it. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm gonna kick it over to Usman, and then it goes straight over to Za.
Yeah, everybody, it seems just about every Rose fight week wants to talk about fading Rose and the mentals and all this and all that. Let me be that guy this week. I'm on Tracy, man. It's just a passing of the torch. Just to quickly answer your question, uh, Joe Rose by knockout plus 500. So you'll be getting some good odds there if it does happen. But personally, I think Tracy's gonna be able to mix it up a bit. I'm not I'm not saying that she's going to outstrike Rose, but I think when everything gets added up, we might have a lot closer of a fight than everybody expects. The hips will always be there. What's her name? Amanda Ribas, not the best takedowns, was able to get it to the ground. And she's also not a 125er. She goes up and down pretty routinely. Um, so like I said, the takedowns will be there. The whole in and out style, it's hard to catch on, but if you pay attention, you can time some shots. I think Tracy has a really good 1-2, and if she can time it while Rose is coming in, it also seems like she punches hard. She knocked what's it called, Jasudavicius' head back quite a few times in that fight. And that 1-2 is just a laser, and if Rose walks into it, it's gonna hurt a lot. Like I said, she's gonna turn to the side, give up her hips. The takedowns will be there. I don't know how she gets it done. Personally, I'm on Tracy. I think she'll be able to hold her down. I don't know if it'll be for the full 5 rounds, if she takes all three and gets a greasy decision, but everybody talks about fading Rose. I think now's the time. You're seeing some people go out to say 7 units on Rose, 10 units on Rose. I mean, everybody's parlay piece. Even it just seems like this is also the making for one of those classic main events. Rose goes out there, wins the first 2 rounds, and then fucking breaks her knee or pops something in her leg. Her shoulder pops out, and then Tracy gets a win. Like it just has the makings for one of those fucking events. So I'm on Tracy. Give me Tracy money line. Right now I got Luana Santos, Christian Rodriguez, and Tracy Cortez for plus 580. Uh let's get that Tracy win right there.
Zabets.
Yeah, I might have to agree with my dude Joe on this one, man. I think Rose is levels above Cortez. Like you just listed all the people that Rose beat and has faced. Like she's been in multiple main events, headline cards. Like she's honestly up there as a fighter.
Hey, this is the final scene, the final cut in Tracy Cortez's Hallmark movie about her MMA fight. The night, when she was the main event. This is it right here. Enjoy this shit, boys. I'm just fucking around, kinda. I mean, I'm probably right, but I'm just fucking around a little bit. Dead Pigs, did you put your hand up? Get after it, bud.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. I was listening back to the Tracy Cortez interview on the Ariel Hawani show, podcast, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And yeah, man, the way she was talking about this fight, man, like she's so corny, bro. Like, I'm just listening to her talk, and I'm just like, remember that one scene from Billy Madison where he's like, oh, we're all dumber now for hearing that. You know, I award you no points. Like when she's just talking, like with like this this confidence, I guess, or I don't know what to call it, like this blinding confidence that she has. I mean, cockiness, whatever it is, man. It's just when I hear her talk, and like especially like talking about the fight like coming up, how she, how she had like she was in an accident, whatever, how like her people are telling her how she needs handlers and whatnot. It's like damn. And she's over here talking about how she's like in the best, like some of the best shape. I mean, every fighter's in the best shape of their fucking life. Every fight that they got coming up. But it's like I just hear her talk, man, and I don't know. Like it's not. I mean, yeah, she has to tell herself these things. She has to trick herself into all this shit. But she didn't fool me, man. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of Rose. I never fucking was a big fan of Rose at all. And I'm in a tough spot. So I'm obviously gonna be betting Rose in this fucking fight. But if Tracy pulls it off, man, I'm gonna be eating my words. But yeah, I think Rose got this like pretty easily.
Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna be eating your shit. And I waited. I knew when Betts started talking. But I want to let everybody go before I get back at fucking Usman with his Amanda Ribas don't even have good takedown defense. Hey, do you remember that chick she fought that she didn't take down? I'll wait.
Who? Who?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's
don't know
not
what you're
one.
talking about.
There's not one. There's not a single fucking person that she's fought that she hasn't taken down. They don't exist. There's not one.
Who
Not
you?
in the
Who,
UFC. Go ahead,
who are you
find me.
talking about?
Amanda Ribas with yours. She don't have good takedown, and she took Rose down. She takes everybody down. What the fuck are you talking about?
She didn't take down Luana Pinero.
Yes, she did.
Look at the stats, bro.
Fuck you. She did. Did she finish her in the first round?
No, she got beat for the first 2 rounds and got a 30-second last minute KO in the third round.
Nah, let me see this. Let me see this. She didn't take down who? One fucking person. She knocked the
Hey,
bitch out, and I gotta
hey,
hear. Man, Usman is cutting in and out. Is that me or him?
I thought that was me, but yeah, he's cutting out. And
Stop.
Usman, what's your reasoning again for Tracy? Because I don't really get it.
hey, she's gonna get takedowns. She's gonna hold her down. It's very simple. She's gonna get takedowns. She's gonna hold her down. She's gonna mix in the striking, and then we're gonna see a boring ass fight where freaking Rose gets stuck in her head. You say it's not gonna be like the Esparza got her down. It's gonna be like the second time Esparza got her down. She's gonna be fighting a real 125er that's gonna hold her ass down.
I don't give a fuck about what you just said at all. That is not even a fucking thing. At all. That is not even a fucking thing to me. So I don't give a shit about what you're talking about. Rose Namajunas gonna whoop her motherfucking ass. That's all there is to it, bro. I'm just trolling a little bit at this point. I
Just don't be one of those guys that put 7 units on Rose, brother. Don't
bro,
be one of those guys because you're gonna be real sad at the end of the night.
no, I'm definitely not gonna be one of those guys. And man, true story of the fucking day, real quick. Dropped my phone in some water. It sat in rice all day. Wasn't sure if we were gonna be able to do the space. Then, I don't know. I'm walking through my house holding my glasses in my fucking hand, my reading glasses, and they fucking break. So then I'm like, oh, I don't have time to go get new ones and shit. I got a space to do. Fuck that. I'll just fix them. So then I'm sitting here. At least I'm talking about the main event because I don't know what I did. I just broke these motherfuckers again, man. I can't see shit up close without these things. Anyway, it doesn't matter because that's the end of the fucking card. UFC Denver. 11 fights, is it? Like it's oh no, because the Josh Van fight is on there, right? So it's 12 fights. Anybody know what time this card starts? I don't know what time it starts. Let me see if I can find out. Maybe if I click here. So I think
6 p.m. my time,
Yeah, I got 6 p.m., 7
6 p.m.
p.m.
Central.
Yeah, I got 7 p.m. Eastern.
Gotcha. Man, like my biggest beef is I know they're out in Vegas and shit, man, but like get these type of cards done early. And I mean legit early. Like I want to see these type of cards during the day. Give me some Sunday morning cards, bro. You know how fucking ecstatic I would be to see this card starts at 11 o'clock or some shit? Do you know how fucking excited I would be about this card if it was that? I don't want to fucking stay up till goddamn midnight watching this bullshit. I mean, it'll be a good enough card, but Jesus Christ, like, fuck, man, give me something to work with here, UFC. That's my rant. The card's over, or our review of the card is over. From here, we talk recent fight announcements. I say it every week. It's my favorite segment of the night. Usman covers the recent announcements. You're up, bud. Get after it.
Before I get into that, hell nah. Give me them damn China times. Let me watch the fight at about 3 in the morning. I'm cool with that. I ain't got to worry about nothing other than myself in these fights. But we'll start off with the where we last left off. Shamil Gaziev will fight Dontel Mays at UFC Abu Dhabi August 3rd.
I mean, that's not a bad fight. I don't know what side I'm gonna pick for sure, but off the top of my head, Gaziev is only got a couple of UFC fights and he's hot, right?
Yeah, they were pushing him until he got, as the young kids would say, fraud checked in his last fight against Biggie Boy, quitting on the stool in between the fourth and the fifth.
Oh yeah, man, we're gonna find out. I doubt he quits on the stool again. I would bet on that. Fucking anyway, what else?
All right, he's back. People have been asking for the suit to return. Li Jing Liang, the Leech, will fight Carlos Pratis at UFC 305 August 17th.
Bro, I just feel like this fight goes the distance, and I feel like Lee steals a split decision. Um, yeah, I don't know why. I mean, maybe I'm just shitting on Pratis. I know sometimes I just don't seem to like fighters that everybody else does, but man, I think Lee fucking pulls that shit out. Who are you on, bud?
No, sir. You know me. I tell you, you bet the overs on Asian women chins. You do not bet the overs on Asian men chins. Carlos Pratis by finish in the first or second round, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I know this makes sense to be a feeder for him, for the UFC's sake. But man, I don't know. I didn't feel like I seen that, but I guess I'll find out, right? That'll be the fucking end of it, one way or another. What else you got?
Okay, the bite, Andre Lima. What should we call him? The bite, the overbite. I don't know what his nickname will be, but Andre Lima will fight Felipe dos Santos at UFC Vegas 97 September 7th. Felipe dos Santos was that guy who came out and looked crazy good on short notice versus Manel Cap, and then really shit the bed in his last fight. I can't remember against who, but he did not look crazy good.
Um, I don't know how I'll bet it. I mean, I assume fight to go the distance. No is going to be the starting point. Yeah, that's just my guess. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll have to look that one up. That's not one I'm right off the top. Like, yeah, this is where I'll be on it. But I'll watch it. I know that because I fucking watch them all. I broke the shit out of these glasses, Usman. I don't even know what the fuck I did, man. Anyway, what's next?
So, Yasmin Jauregui seems like one of the golden children out of Mexico will be fighting Ketlin Souza, UFC 306 slash UFC Noche September 14th. Ketlin Souza, just looking at this picture, don't know who the hell this is, but the name sounds familiar. I'd have to do some research, but knowing that it's Yasmin Jauregui, they're trying to serve her up a big old meatball at UFC Noche. So bet on her, even when she's gonna be minus 700 or some shit.
I don't think she'll be no motherfucking minus 700. I don't think it'll be anything like that. She'll probably be the
Oh,
favorite.
you don't remember last UFC Noche where she fought Elise Reed and she was minus 860 or some shit?
Jesus Christ, was she really?
Yeah, and she looked it, but it was definitely a shit bet.
Why have they not dropped all the lines for that card yet?
I think they're really keeping everything close to their chest. I have a couple of fight announcements for that one, but it's not anything big.
All right, what else you got?
So my roommate in college, his name was Edgar Chairez. So I got to root for my boy Edgar Chairez when he fights Kevin Borjas at UFC 306 September 14th. That's also UFC Noche.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the same guy, though, bro, but that's pretty cool that you would root for him anyway.
Yeah, yeah, man. I always tell him, like, hey, bro, good luck on your fight this weekend. And he's a really big guy. There's no way he's a flyweight, but he's still that Edgar Chairez for me. That'll be a banger. That'll be a fun fight. Cool.
Agreed. Agreed.
Charalampos Gregorio will fight Toshiomi Kazama at UFC Vegas 95 August 10th. I feel really good about saying both of those names, man. Toshiomi Kazama.
I'm gonna say that's Kazama's fight, bro. They want to push that guy. Um, I'm telling you, they want to push that guy.
I don't remember anything about Charalampos off the top of my head. The guy looks familiar, name sounds familiar, but I can't remember his last fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know his last fight off the top of my head, but I know Kazama is. He's road to UFC, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like people got to understand that is the they are hoping that dwarfs anything Tough ever did. They want Road to UFC to do more ratings in one season than Tough did in 10. And I'm not kidding. And it doesn't even need to air in the US for that to happen. So um man, they want to push the talent off of there, and over the next 10 years, the talent that comes off of that show will be as predominant in the UFC as Tough fighters are. I feel very comfortable saying that. So I'll have to look it up, but just off the top of my head, I would say Kazama's probably getting a push fight.
All right. Speaking about a push fight, I'll already tell you what the winning bet is. It's Ronaldo Rodriguez by submission when he fights Ode Osborne at UFC 306, UFC Noche, September 14th. We just saw him against, I want to say Bondar. He's the dude with the really, really ugly teeth. And he got that submission. He's gonna jump on the back and get the submission against OJ Osborne because that's just what happens, right? That's just easy money.
I mean, it's probably the likely outcome. Kind of sucks though because I like O'Day. I've met him a few times. Yeah, Andrew was big on him, and he kind of recognized Andrew. I was at Fight Week one. I don't know, last year or the year before with Andrew. I was there with them both year, but I don't remember what year it was. And he remembered Andrew and shit. So like, he was cool. We talked to him for a minute. But man, I hope his UFC career really takes an upswing. Sincerely, is all I will say. I hope he pulls that one out, but I don't think it's a good look for him.
Well, just narrative wise, putting him up against an undefeated Mexican on UFC Noche doesn't look like they want his
Yeah,
career
that
heading
makes
that
him the
way.
parlay buster, though, right? If we're just
What's
looking
up?
at narrative, if we're just looking at narrative, that makes him the parlay buster, right?
Oh man, I've been caught on these spaces saying that when they do a Mexican centric UFC card, whether it be here in Texas or in Mexico, Mexicans don't pull through in when they're on home turf. That's just the way the pattern that's been going. But lately they've shut me the hell up and they've been cashing on these Mexican cards. So I don't know, bro. I don't know if he's a
Have they
parlay
shut you up,
buster.
or has the UFC shut you up? Because we used to fade Canadians, and now even Canadians win on Canadian cards.
Oh, hey, 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 hey. No, they don't. Only Jillian Robertson does.
I think the last two Canadian cards, the Canadians have dominated, haven't they? They swept one of them, right?
No,
Mike
no, the
Malott. I don't
females.
know.
Yeah, the females swept the last one. Every Canadian man lost on the last Canada card.
No shit, huh? All their
Yeah,
girlfriends kicked
Jourdain
butt.
lost to Woodson, right?
Yeah, Malott lost. Um, Marc Andre Barrios lost. Yeah,
Damn,
I just know for a fact. I was like, oh, cool. The two female Canadians won, and every single male Canadian lost.
damn. What else you got?
This one is sad. I told all y'all to bet the fucking house when it was Norma Dumont versus Jermaine Durandamy. I don't want to see GDR go like this. I mean, I don't like her at all for the whole Holly Holm bullshit and not fighting Cyborg, but I don't want to see her go out like this. Jermaine Durandamy versus Nora Cornoli, booked for UFC Paris on September 28th. Is it a winnable fight? Sure, but They're not doing her any favors. They want her to lose this fight.
Oh yeah, Jermaine's gonna fight dirty than a motherfucker though, and I'm not kidding. Jermaine is gonna fight dirty as a motherfucker. Uh, yeah. I don't know. I feel like GDR is. I'm not
A
trying to sound
57-year
funny.
old pregnant woman.
Nah, she's a dirty old broad, and she don't give a fuck. She'll gouge your eyes. She'll punch you after the bell. She'll fucking kick you in the head when she's not supposed to. I don't think she gives a fuck. I think GDR is a real fighter. So, uh, never count her out to cheat and win. But if she doesn't cheat to win, she probably loses the fight. Let's be
Uh,
honest. She changed trajectory of Holly Holm's career by fucking hitting her after the bell twice in one fucking fight.
and no points taken. And no points taken.
And one
Fucking
point taken
bullshit.
would have won that fight, dude. Right? 1 point taken
Absolutely.
would have won the fight, right?
And
I'm
you,
almost
yes,
positive.
and you know for a fact Holly Holm would have fought Cyborg after that. That's the thing that pisses me off the most. She cheated, there was no consequences, and after that, she said, "Oh, UFC, you took care of me? Cool. Inaugural 145 belt. Yeah, I'm not fighting Cyborg. Fuck yourselves."
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the UFC definitely hates her for that too. If I'm being honest, I feel like they definitely fucking hate her for that too. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel bad if GDR gets beat up and goes out. She's the man. Have you ever seen $1 Million Baby?
A long time ago.
You remember the chick that did the dirty shit at the end of the movie? GDR.
Hey, if Nora can shoot a takedown, I'm betting against her.
Fair enough, but yeah, whatever. I don't know how I feel about that fight. I don't like GDR, so fuck her. So yeah, whatever. Fade her ass. What's next?
Another UFC Paris, September 28th, banger when Renato Moicano faces off Benoit Saint Denis.
Damn, if I'm being honest, I'm surprised they give that fight to Moicano.
Like if it goes to decision or that they made it at all.
That they made the fight.
It's a tough one, man. Like if Renato can go and get out this win, boom, straight to the top three. Like you've made your point. You're funny. You got a character. You just beat this guy. Let's get you one more, and then you're at a title shot. But damn, this is gonna be a tough ass fight.
How about it being a main event? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Oh
Um,
shit! It does say main event. I didn't even notice that.
for the Paris card,
Yeah.
no, Paris is a pay per view, right?
No, no, not a pay per view.
Surreal Gone, I thought, said he was fighting in an interview walking out of his acting trailer that he was fighting on the Paris card.
Surreal Gone doesn't fight. Surreal Gone turns down fights, so he
Nah, but
ain't
I'm
getting
pretty
no main
certain that
event.
he turned it down for the acting gig. And on the way out of his like trailer, someone was, with a camera and asked him when he was going to fight again. And he said on the Paris card. I could be mistaken about that, but I don't think I am. I
No,
think
I saw that
that's
video.
correct.
I saw that video.
Yeah, see, I knew that shit was legit. So I think he'll end up being the headline of that card. I think Surreal Gone will headline that card.
Well, it says this is a confirmed main event, so
What the fuck?
I know, cause
yeah,
what's his name? What's that guy from Louisiana? Allen, Brandon Allen.
yeah. I was gonna bring that up too,
Yeah,
Zah.
you could bring it up. My shit's lagging right now.
Yeah, Brendan Allen went on an interview saying that they offered him Nasruddin Imavov for a 3 round co-main event at UFC Paris, and he turned it down because he only wants a main event. He'll fight Imavov, but he wants a main event, which kind of throws Cyril Gane in a weird gray space because they were looking at Nasruddin and Allen as a co-main event. That would make this definitely the main event, and Cyril Gane turns down fights.
All right, Surreal Gun does turn down fights. I can't argue with that. What else you got?
That's it. That was the last one right there.
All right. Well, we had a little bit of a topic. It's not much, but we'll close with it. Someone dropped a chart. Nate Latshaw dropped a chart. UFC knockout rates last 10 years. All of women's MMA weight classes, 12%. Women's, that's 2024. I'm only going to do the last 3 years. 14%, 16%. So we're going back 2024 so far, 2023, 2022. 12%, 14%, 16%. It's seen a high of 27% in 2001. 2001, 2000, 2020, I said 2001. 2021 and 2020 were very good years for knockouts in the UFC. I would say that. Yeah, I don't know. This chart, if someone, I don't know if one of you guys can share it in the comments. If not, I'll get it posted in a second so everybody can see it. I don't know.
Already
This
up.
is, what's that?
It's
Oh,
already up there.
I appreciate you. Um, I don't know. This has got to be a helpful betting tool to some degree, but to me, my bigger comment about it is I want to see the chart for women's fights to go the distance by year, by weight class. I want to see that because I feel like you could just lay the money on the fight to go the distance every single time on women's fights and profit. And I haven't tested it yet, and I could do it. I know I could do it with $1 and just track the fucking dollar for Christ's sake, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be like you have to do it with $100 bet every time or something, but I just haven't done it. But like, I do have to say that as great as this chart is, I think more value would be found in fight goes the distance with the women. A note I will say is that this year so far, 58% of light heavyweight fights have ended by knockout. And while we call the bantamweight the new banger ass knockout, you know, these guys are doing it division lowest amongst the men at 17%. Even flyweights have a 23% knockout rate. 41 at middleweight, 37 at welterweight, 32 at lightweight, 36 at featherweight. Yeah, I don't know. Makes sense. The surprise is 35% heavyweight, and we all know why that is. That's because heavyweight MMA is not what it once was, and fight to go the distance in low level MMA heavyweight. Not low level in the sense of the dude at your corner gym. Not top 20 of the UFC versus not top 20 of the UFC, unless it's someone on a rocket ship up. Fight goes the distance. Fight goes over 1.5. Fight goes over 2.5. Those hit at high probability. So, um, guess not really surprised to see 35% in 2024. It is notable to say that that is a all-time low thus far into the year. It is at a all-time low in the past 10 years. 2018 was 39% at heavyweight, and that was the lowest year prior to this. The best year they've seen was 2015, 2015, 2015, 57%. Yeah, if you were watching MMA in 2015, much different landscape of heavyweights than we have now. Usman, I know you were the one who actually threw this thing into the chat, so you want to talk about it at all?
Uh, Low level heavyweights, exactly what you were saying. We come out here every week, and when we spot one, we say hit the over. I think that Shamil Gaziev Dontel Mays fight, if Shamil doesn't knock him out early, we're gonna get a heavyweight over on a low skill heavyweight fight. When it comes to the bantamweights, I think it also has to do with the high skill. Um, Bantamweight, we do talk about it being a banger of a division right now. Everybody is really fucking skilled. You can look at guys like Peter Yan and Song Yadong. Both of those guys got dynamite in their hands. and they stood in front of each other and beat the shit out of each other for 3 rounds, and nobody fell down. So I think it has to do with skill. Think it has to do with that they're a lot younger in that division. You're hitting, not you're hitting your prime earlier, but you're taking advantage of your career around that 27 to 32-year-old range, where your chins are very fresh. So I think those numbers are pretty spot on.
All right, so the bet though, when you look at that chart, the biggest bet is like bet tell is women's strawweight has a 5% knockout probability. Man, I know that DraftKings does some weird shit. Like you can get fight ends by this, fight ends by that, fight ends by this or that. Um, again, if you were just betting without bias or without prejudice, meaning you had a system and you just bet the system every single time, no matter what. I feel like hitting women's strawweights over it's a must fucking do. It has to be a winning strategy. I don't know. I'm trying to get
So
set up a little bit for YouTube and trying to switch some stuff up. So it's hard for me to start tracking new stuff, but maybe that can be something that I do as one of our weekly videos once I get there, where we could just take a 10 or a 20 or $1 for Christ's sake or whatever. It doesn't matter. And just roll it. And when it hits 50% it, 50% it, 50% it to the top and see how far it could go. You would have to lose, if you lost 2 in a row, you would have 25% of whatever your bank had built to, but like 50% bet every single time. I bet betting the women's strawweight to go over is a profitable thing. Usman, I'm sorry I cut you off, bud. Go ahead.
no, that's all good. I was gonna say at 5% for strawweight, I might have to go and look back at every single strawweight fight of 2024 and figure out if that 5% is solely Jessica Andrade.
That's funny. I was just thinking, man, if you took this chart and circled the fucking 17% at bantamweight and wrote Sean O'Malley is 12.5% of this, that fucking egotistic dude would probably fucking find it and share it. You probably wouldn't get credit for it. He probably wouldn't retweet it. He'd probably just take it and share it. Yeah, I got to agree with you there. I don't know. I'm trying to think who has scored a fucking knockout at flyweight. Who's done it? Was there a title fight in 2024 that we've seen a knockout? Who did
Even
it?
even what's her name, Weili Zhang against Yan Xiaonan did not end in knockout, and it could have twice. So I can't
Wait,
think of any.
didn't we just see a 105er get knocked out coming into the UFC?
105er.
Yeah, someone going up to 115. Didn't we just see someone come into the UFC and get knocked out for doing that? Fuck. Man,
Oh, you know who? You know who it is? It was the battle of the Montserrats. Montserrat Conejo versus Montserrat Rendon or some shit like that.
is that who it was? That's probably
It
the whole
might.
5%, bro. That's probably the
It
whole
might be.
5%.
It's that and Jessica Andrade versus Mackenzie Dern.
Yep, that's definitely it. 40 fights. That would make up 5%. I don't know if there's only been 40 strawweight fights. I'm just assuming, like, I don't know. There's probably been more, but I don't feel like we see a lot of women's strawweights anymore. I don't feel like we see a lot of women's fights. I feel like it got hot and it was a popular, fun thing to do. A year, and they have lost track of 2013, 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016. Even though Connor had the success he did in those years, they were really starting to try to push stars. And over the next few years, the company's goals seem to be building, growing, and making the talent more famous. Just doesn't seem to be that anymore. It seems to be the product is the product, the fighters are the fighters, and fucking deal with it. Big shift over the past 10 years is, I guess, what I'm saying in that aspect. Any comment on that, Usman?
Man, I'm already falling into the rabbit hole, bro. I'm already looking at all of the cards for this year. I'm going to find that 5% of knockouts, and I'm actually going to look at all of the female fights in the UFC for 2024 and count how many of them went to decision. So I wasn't even listening to you, bro. I'm already too deep.
I don't even doubt it. I can fucking understand completely. I recently did a dive on a subject and lost a day and a half of my life, of my personal time. Every fucking minute I have went into that subject. I wrote a whole fucking Trello about it. Ryan Garcia is taking photos with BJ Penn in front of a Tito Ortiz sign. At least we know he doesn't plan on winning. Yep, at least we know he doesn't plan on winning because you're not training with fucking BJ Penn. Let me see. What is this? What is this
You
thing?
didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that.
I didn't have to do what? I mean, come on.
You don't have to find any reason to shit on BJ Penn.
All right, so here's what I'll say. In this photo, you can see Ryan Garcia, BJ Penn, and images of Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, and Tito Ortiz. Like, I'm just saying, it's not like he's taking photos in front of a bunch of guys that are winning in MMA at all. I'm just saying. You could be mad all you want, but I'm just saying it's not a good look for him. Ryan Garcia has a lot of money, and I hope that he finds peace with who he is and enjoys his life. I don't think they're gonna let him box again. I think that he would have to do some type of apologies and things that he's probably not gonna want to do or be willing to do, at least not for a while. And by the time he is, his his years may have passed him. But I have no reason not to wish Ryan Garcia the best. I hope he does go to rehab. I hope that he does get clean, and I hope that he does find some reasons to make. Not reasons. He has the reasons. I hope he. I hope he finds the moral compass to feel like he needs to make some apologies. But I don't wish anything bad on him, man. He's a young kid, with a lot of money, and that's one thing. I see you, Usman. Give me 1 second. One thing I've been, you guys have heard me say it so much. I'm like one of the biggest Mike Tyson fans you'll ever meet. Watched all his fights dozens of times each. I fucking loved Mike Tyson. Something that made me understand why Mike was so fucked up when he was young is he said, imagine being 19 years old and everybody you meet tells you you're the baddest man on the planet. He said, but then go past that. He said, imagine having, and I think he said $100 million at the time, $100 million in the bank at 19 years old. How would you act? What would you do? You would feel like you're like a god or something. Like it's hard to stay in touch with reality. And for fighters, tend to, I don't know, I tend to give them that courtesy of feeling that way for them when they're young and make a lot of money. So I hope Ryan gets his shit together. I was just taking shots at BJ Penn because he got choked outside of a bar in front of a fire hydrant by some guy. We still don't know his fucking name. Usman.
Man, I'm really hoping you can rant and let me get through this damn rabbit hole. Do you think this guy is counting disqualifications as a KO finish? Because I'm already in March and there's only been one knockout finish, and it was by disqualification, and it was the Ariana Carnelosi headbutts from guard.
Maybe?
Hey Joe, that was a good
Uh,
story, man. Don't let Usman hate on you, man.
No, hey, you ramble on, bro. I'm gonna finish this right now. I'm on March 2nd.
bro, but I'm done. Like what I'm supposed to do, bro. I ain't got nothing else left. It's a Tuesday night and in July. And Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez is the main event, bro. Like, how long? I can't. I thought we would be done 20 minutes ago. Like, I stretched it with Ryan Garcia. There's just, I don't know what you want, man. Listen, don't bet on strawweight knockouts. That is the motherfucking key there. Like, don't do it. No matter how good they are, just don't fucking bet it. Let me take a second for everybody that's in here that's probably already heard me say it. Our website, capmma.com. Man, it's come quite a ways. You can see averages over books. We were the first site to do that, even though many paid sites have copied that now. You can see a little calendar that tells you how long the line has been on our site from the book holder that held it the longest. If you see the little blue icons lit up, there are some stories written about them in the past 3 weeks. Like if you click Tracy Cortez, she's got over a dozen of them. Those come from 7 of the 8 biggest outlets. We don't fuck with Tapology, not because we don't like them, because their feed is fucking all dumb and it comes through all shitty. So we just don't fuck with Tapology. But the 7 other biggest outlets, it gets all of their stories. If you click where it says compare stats next to the fighters' names, it auto-fills it in our box up at the top. Just click UFC or PFL or 1, and you can click compare or share to see stats. Our rankings are live. Our leaderboards are live. Our standings are live, meaning like UFC rankings, leaderboards, standings. If their shit updates, our shit updates immediately. It's all live information. So we also have a parlay calculator, pretty cool tool, and we have round props, and soon we will have alternative round props. So that's what we got going on with the site right now. I'm trying to work on DFS and possibly a free DFS optimizer. If I can sort out doing it myself, it's probably just something I'll make available for free for everybody. Yeah, we're working on it over there. Oh, shit. The whole reason I wanted to plug the site, we have a new analysis area. There are currently 17 write-ups over there for free. The analysis area, I am posting all of the DARS analysis. I'll get at least 3 done every week. I'm going to go for up to 6. Those are real AI statistical tendencies, breakdowns, probabilities for winnings and knockouts. Right now, there's 17 of them over the next 6 cards over there, and I'll try to get some more added. I'm going to get Usman to start adding the strat over there, and we'll get some links posted as the fights go to remind everybody to go over there and check them. If you're listening and you like doing fight write-ups and you have an angle on them, or if you just look at it for a certain reason or a strategy for bet you write up and you'd like to refine it, or if it already is refined and you'd like to get it published over there, you can sign up to the site and I'll get you set up to be able to publish right in the books there, where you just click the event and you can set your write-ups and then you can promote them yourself over on our site. And hey, if you get real big and you want to leave, we won't be mad at you. We'll appreciate you growing us some traffic while you were at it. But it gives you a spot to do it. So anybody's welcome to do that. I will want a couple samples of what you're doing. I don't want fucking tweets on the website. I want write-ups. But anybody that wants to do it, let me know. Usman.
So, I know we're ending the show. I'll leave it at this. Strawweight fights 2024. There have been 5 that finish inside the distance, 3 by submission, 1 by disqualification. Headbutts Ariana Colosi and Pinheiro, or however, Piero Rodriguez. The one sole knockout is Jillian Robertson. Early on in the year, come on, I had it at the tip of my tongue. Jillian Robertson, she knocked somebody out. Poliana Viana. That's it. She's the 5%. So shout out Jilly Bean.
So only 5 fights haven't went the distance?
Yes, sir.
And do you know how many there have been? It's okay if you don't.
I don't. I was skimming through it, but believe me, by
Got to be
next
20
next
plus.
week, I'll have them all.
Yeah, it's got to be 20 plus, right? Man, it seems like that's got to be a winning strategy. I guess it would just depend on how shitty of a line you're getting for fight to go the distance, but fuck the overs. Like, man, it almost feels like don't even talk about a strawweight fight. Just bet the fight goes the distance. It's going to hit the majority of the time. Like, I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
lazy, but If you see two low-level heavyweights, two out-of-shape heavyweights, you bet the over. And we know it. And we don't track it like we should. We'll get there where it's automatically tracked on our website somehow. Like, we will get there, guys. Shit takes time to build and money and all of that stuff. But like, we know that shit hits at a crazy high number. It's got to be 85+%. I would argue it probably hits at 90 fucking percent plus, right? So like, at some point, we all want to be cappers and we all want to watch tape, but when you can start to break down statistics and data and probabilities the way that we can in 2024, it just comes a point of sometimes the probability is gonna win. Like, that's why it's probability. When you have an extreme probability, it doesn't lose. You're talking 5% finish rate by knockout, less than 10% and that's with a DQ, less than 10%. Then, so true finishes, you're maybe talking 10% of strawweight fights. So somewhere between 85 and 90% of women's strawweight fights go the distance. And we know that right now. So all we got to do is figure out roughly how many are going out each year, right? And then figure out the odds that we have to average on them to make sure that we don't lose if we hit the median. Like, I know that that's some work, but those are statistics that we can figure out now. And as like our systems come along on our website, we'll be able to plug some shit like that in. But there just comes a probability there where it's like tape work isn't worth it. Even looking at stats is not worth it unless there is some sensational superstar that we all know their name before they're a champion at women's strawweight. Right. You bet the fucking fight goes the distance, and you bet it every single time. Every single fucking time. Man, I don't know. There's just got to be some strategy to that in the sense of putting your pride aside as a capper. Oh, I see an edge here, an edge there. There's no fucking edge. It's women's strawweight. Fight goes the distance. I don't know. I think I'm probably going to start standing on that one the same way I stand on low-level heavyweight. Yeah, it just feels like one you got to fucking really stand on there. Usman, that's my final rant, I think. Unless you got a counter rant, I'd love to hear it before we go. Other than that, I'm done.
Sunday is all about numbers and stats by
Bro,
Sunday.
yeah. Looks at what it would have been worth to hit. What was, why didn't people bet it? Did we say to bet it? Did we not say to bet it? He calls the show Cash or Trash, but it is a UFC card review. He does it Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Great show. Get by there. That's it. I'm going to just keep plugging if I don't leave. That's it.